are listening to the Successful She Podcast, episode 22, How to Find Opportunity, Make a Plan, and Lead Through Adversity, with the dynamic duo, John and Brittney Wannamaker, who are kicking off a Southern and Caribbean restaurant idea in the Dallas-Fort Worth marketplace together. Plus, in his free time, John's a motivational speaker, a deacon, and when we met a couple years ago, he was a candidate for U.S. Congress from the great state of Texas. Hello, 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 everybody. This is Dorothy Cooney, and welcome back here to the another podcast episode of the Successful She Podcast, the success podcast for women on your way to transforming yourself, your business, your work, your situation, your life, from stewing, shouting, shrinking, or shunning into success that shows up as respect, appreciation, money, and time so that you can enjoy the future that you want with the confidence, respect, and fun that is your birthright. And in quite nearly every moment, especially the tough ones. I'm delighted to have here today two great guests, John and Brittney Wannamaker. I met John here in North Texas in 2018 when he and Brittney were parents again with number 3, and now they have 4 children and have declared victory. John was running for Congress then, and that, as you may guess, didn't quite work out, but other things have, and they are just an amazing couple. You will love this. Brittney, whose secret sauce, business sauce, she is the quiet leader in Brinks, the financial analyst department, and manages in any context. And Brittney, how do you find your what's next?
How do I find my what's next? I pick out what's important and try to narrow down on what's that and go from there.
Very good, very good. And so what are the criteria that you're looking for? How do you know that it's your what's next and not, so many of us do things because mama said or daddy said or, your best friend said or something like that. You know what I mean? How do you know that it's yours?
I go with what feels comfortable to me, and I'm secure in that, and I lead with that and try to shut out everything outside of
that. Good. And knowing yourself is something that is a journey for so many of us. It's easy to know what other people think, and sometimes it's harder to know ourselves. Is that right?
Right.
So how did you get to a place where you can really trust that inner knowing?
Prayer. And a lot of listening. You go through your moments where you're doubtful of yourself and it's a trial and error thing, and you bounce back from those times where it doesn't quite work out, and you just have to recover. You have to fail, recover, and every time you fail, you recover, you come back better. I learned from that, and I keep moving. I have little people that's looking at me, so I can't stay down too long. I have my moment, and then I have to bounce back to let them know that, there's I guess, an answer in your failure, and you could just bounce back from that and keep moving forward.
Boy, I couldn't agree more. Sometimes we as human beings can take a failure too hard and think that it means something about us. But when we look at it as, another wonderful experiment, some experiments tell you no, and some experiments tell you yes. And so sometimes you just gotta get a few of the no's out of the way before you find that yes.
Right.
Well, wonderful. Well, John, you're a dad of 4 as well, and part of you still loves to help struggling business owners and people looking to change the world for the positive. So Tell us how you got to a place where you do that, and what is it that that is your secret sauce in advising people, particularly in this time when some of us may need to pivot.
True. That's a great question. I think what has helped me the most is that I'm a very, very positive person. I try to stay positive all the time. And even when I get down, I look at Brittney and I see how she continues to run and run and run. And it helps me to know that, we don't have to stop at plan A. We don't have to stop at plan B. We don't have to stop at plan C. And when we run out of those 26 letters, we can start with numbers and we go from 1 to 2 to 10 to 50 to 100. But a person who never gives up is a person who will find the victory that they're looking for.
That's so true.
So regardless of what's going on, I agree with you about the experiment. Some experiments say yes, some experiments say no, some of them say not yet. And
yes.
So we constantly have to continue to push ourselves and push ourselves. And that's what I do, is I push myself. I'm constantly learning, constantly reading, constantly watching videos, because there are things I don't know and there are things that I want to do. And if you don't know how to do something, the best thing you can do is go learn it. You don't know how good you can be at it until you do it.
I agree 100%. When I started my coaching business a few years back, I thought that would be an easy business to launch. And I found out that there were more challenges than I had even considered, because it was a new space for me. And I just took it on as a learning opportunity, and have just built muscle in one area and another area and another area, so that I could really serve the people that my heart is called to serve. And it has made all the difference. And am I doing what I started to do a few years ago? No, it's really different, but it's a really good fit for me.
That's right. I agree. It's in the direction. It may not be exactly what you pinpointed, but it's in the direction. So that's how we are. That's how we operate. You have to keep your eyes open for the next opportunity and the thing that's within you that calls for it. Everyone should always be looking to grow, because only healthy things grow.
That is great. I love that. And when you all before we hit the record button here, we were talking about that one event that made you go into your new venture together, which was a party with some food. Tell that story. It's so juicy.
Well, when you run for Congress, or you start up a business, or you start coaching, one of the greatest things you can do that coronavirus has stopped us from doing is gathering together. So in 2018, we decided we were going to have a Christmas party. We have friends, we have family, but we wanted to have a Christmas party and kind of bring everyone together. So we had a Christmas party, and we were trying to decide, where do we get the food from? Do we go to this store, this restaurant? What do we do? And we decided that we were going to cook instead. So, it saves money to cook. You spend some time doing it, but you get to spend time together. So we spent time together making all of this food, and the people who came loved it. And they really loved it. They started asking for recipes, and we didn't want to give it to them. They started wanting
asking for my secret sauce.
So we realized that we were not the only ones who liked our food. Our kids liked our food, and kids are brutally honest. Oh, that's too hot. Oh, I don't like onions. Oh, I don't want those pickles. Oh, these tomatoes. They're brutally honest. And so we tailored food that they would eat, and we made it for a bunch of people, and they loved it. And it let us know that, hey, maybe we have something here.
Yeah. And you come from two different parts of the country, and your concept is kind of a fusion concept, which exists nowhere else in the world. Am I right?
That is true. It does not exist. No one's thought about this, and it kind of hit us like a ton of bricks, because I'm from New York City, from Brooklyn, from a West Indian neighborhood, from a culture of the Caribbean, and everything I cook is tailored towards the Caribbean culture. But
You were bobbling there for a minute. Say again. Sometimes the internet is a little funky, you know. So you were cooking and.
I'm from a Caribbean culture,
Mm-hmm.
so I cook everything leans towards Caribbean,
Yeah.
towards jerk, towards stew, towards curry, towards different types of vegetables, things that are good for you, and things that are healthy and natural. And my wife is from the Louisiana, Houston area, and she has family roots there. So her cooking is Southern. So what we did is we did a fusion of Caribbean and Southern. So our most famous thing is fish stew.
Yeah.
Fish stew is fish that's been stewed with vegetables and sauce, but then has andouille sausage added in, and it makes it so much better.
Delicious.
It is fantastic. So we serve that over white rice, and that is just, people order that now. They order it so that it can be delivered, and we take it to people during coronavirus because it's something that is really, really good.
Oh yeah, and it's easily transportable. It lasts, and yeah, I get that people would love a good stew.
They do. and this is pretty good. So at the party, that was one of the things we had, and it let us know that people might really want to buy this, and then we started doing it. And we both love to cook, so that makes it helpful.
Great. So when other people, you know, not everybody has got, you know, this kind of fusion background or even likes to cook, but they've got other, you know, talents that they're gifted with. And so when you see other folks um, trying to go forward in their pivot, what do you think they need to consider so that they've got a good shot at thriving on the other side and making it through this pandemic?
I think one of the greatest failures that we have in our minds now is that we think we need to be quarantined. And during the quarantine, we need to watch movies and we need to go out periodically and go shopping, but we need not do anything. And that's a huge failure, because if you're going to find your pivot, you have to find it somewhere.
Yeah.
To find it doing something. Everybody has a hobby. Hobby Lobby was closed. Michael's was closed. Joann's was closed. All the places she loves to go.
Oh, I bet.
I was so happy that I didn't have to stand in the store for 2 hours while she looked at happy planners and all this other stuff. But what was key about that is that I think people can find their pivot in the middle of this quarantine.
Mm-hmm.
But 26 million people were laid off. So what do you do? What else do you do? Your what's next? What else do you do? Do you cook? Do you paint? Do you take care of fish? Do you cut your grass? Do you wash cars? What do you do? Are you a financial planner? Are you a person who can go get their Series 6 or Series 7 license and start doing that? Can you join an insurance company to start selling insurance? Because guess what? People are still dying. People still need life insurance. People still need to have medical insurance. What is it that you can do? Can you go back to school? Do you have 401k that you can start something? There are so many things people can do right now to pivot, but they have to find their what's next. What is the next thing that you can do and not only do you need to find it, you need to start it. Because when this pandemic is all over and we're back to whatever the new normal becomes, you don't want to be found as the person watching Indeed or ZipRecruiter looking for a job.
Right. That's too late.
It's too late. Exactly. You want to be the person who comes out of this and you come out strong, and people wonder, what were they doing during cabin fever? Mm-hmm. You didn't have cabin fever. You were in the house and you were planning something and doing something and putting something together. And so that's what I think people need to do right now.
And any, if you're looking for employment on the other side of this pandemic, when larger businesses start hiring again, then that's something business leaders always want somebody with pluck and ingenuity, and they notice opportunity. And so when you've got stories from this time that, like I had done a few of these podcasts last year, and then I took a break from it. And I thought this is the perfect time to restart the podcast and make sure that it gets out to as many people as possible, because they need inspiration. And there's nothing like visibility to keep a business growing through a difficult time.
I agree. I totally agree.
Wonderful, wonderful. Well, once people have identified what they do, then what are those tips, you two? And Brittney, I'd love, because you are such a tremendous planner, I'd love you to weigh in on what are your tips for like planning? Because most people know that they need to have a plan, but if they haven't seen a business plan before, they're probably thinking, what would I put in it? What are even the section titles of a plan? And most people don't, they're not clear on the kind of risks that businesses need to have a plan around. What would you say about something like that?
Well, I would say first I would lead with compartmentalizing things and go from there. You don't want to give half effort towards things, so make a plan, section it off, and go at one section at a time. That way you can give full effort towards one subject, so to say, and then move to the next. Because if you're jumping around, going from this topic to the next topic, you're not necessarily giving full effort across the board. So start at one thing, give your full effort, then go to the next. And then it's always best to add a little bit of your creativity in there, because you don't want to be doing what everybody else is doing.
Mm-hmm.
So don't hesitate to lead with that if you feel led to do so.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and the value of a plan, I think, is so that you've got the step-by-steps that you need to build in order to achieve, an objective, like from a strategic perspective. And so knowing what it is that you want the result to be is probably one of the early steps in being able to build a plan, because you got to know what you're shooting for. Is that about right?
Correct.
That's true. You make the vision. You have a vision board, you make the vision, and then every major planner, every major CEO knows this. I know where I want to go, so what do we need to do to get here? Yeah. And then you start making the plan backwards. You don't plan. Most people think you write a business plan, you sit down, okay, well, what do I need? I need finances, I need marketing, I need a website, I need a telephone number, I need business credit, I need a bank account, I need all of these things. But ultimately, if you get all of that, what do you do next? So you need to have the plan. Like us, we want 50 restaurants throughout the United States.
Yay.
So you start off with the 50 in mind, the different locations, and then you work your way backwards. How do we get a restaurant? What do we need? Are we going to buy a building, or are we going to lease a building? That means you got to have a bank account. You got to have trade lines. You got to have people who are willing to put money into that. So the best thing that you can do is what we always tell people, is that everything you need is wrapped up in somebody else. You need to meet people. You need to Zoom. You need to online meet. You need to go meeting. You need to do stuff in order to get with people, because right now people everybody needs a leader, and people need somebody to contact them and say, I need your help.
Yes.
Because people need something to do. And when you are laid off, what are you going to do?
Yeah.
So your first plan is get your team together, because you don't know everything. So you need to get your team together, and you need finances, you need leasing, you need a building, you need the products that you're going to sell, and you need service people, because a true person who starts a business, you start a business that other people would do the job. So you spend more time planning and pushing the vision while they do the work.
Right. Right.
So,
Oh, that is really a very well said. Thank you so much. And when you've got that vision, I mean, one of the things that people will often think of is that the business is mine, and you were really speaking to this. It's my business, and yada yada yada. And they don't think about how, you know, how much the we part of it, the collaborating part of it, really builds the kind of momentum that as a single individual is really hard to build.
it's true. Very, very true. I think what people don't know is that as long as the business is yours, if you can't work, you can't eat.
Mm-hmm.
And so you need to create a business. And when you incorporate a business, it becomes an 18-year-old person that you can control. And so you incorporate a business, it's a separate entity, and this entity has to do something. You don't spend money to create a business. So now you go out and you wash the windows and you change the tire and you do all of this. Is honestly, you have to get other people involved.
Yeah.
And if you can serve other people by giving them a job, and especially during this time, you know, landscapers are still out here working every day. They're still cutting trees and they're still laying pavement and doing all of that. What about that company? What about the truck driver? You don't have to own the truck. You can have somebody else drive the truck and you start moving for Amazon and moving mail and doing all these other things. There are things you can do, but people have to be creative. And the only way to really be creative is somebody has to expose you to it. So you have to find people. And you have to find, they have to be on your podcast or listen to your podcast because you're going to help them. And you're going to have people on here who can help them somehow.
I couldn't agree more. It's really important to look at a business as a collaborative effort where the whole point is to serve the needs of others, the heartfelt needs that they have. And there is nothing more than food that we need, like 3 times a day would be good. Oh, goodness. So how can our listeners and viewers learn more about you and your work? And what's the name of your restaurant?
It's WannaEat Seafood.
So WannaEat Seafood. If they go to WannaEatSeafood.com, they can see everything we have, learn all about us, and they can even try the food if they want to.
There, that sounds good. I'm smelling it already.
Look, Dorothy, what I would like to do for you is if any person goes to WannaEat Seafood and they go to our online store to buy something, if they use the promo code Dorothy Kuhn, they will get 15% off anything they buy.
Wow. Wow, wow, wow. Well, I will put that in the show notes. I will appreciate that.
Yes.
So yeah, that sounds great. And what point of wisdom do you have as we're wrapping up? What's the important idea that that you want to leave people with?
I think we want people to know that don't let coronavirus stop you from your future. There is something you can do right now. When this video is over, there's something they've been thinking about doing, that if they just go out and do it and reach out to people, put it on social media and pay for a few advertisements, that can be the next thing they do that help them pivot from the layoff, or pivot from the firing, or pivot from the closing of the business, or pivot from whatever it is that's causing them grief and causing them to worry and causing them to go out and do nothing or sit on the couch with a blanket all day. There's things that you can do, and the internet has opened the entire world to us. And so we can find what we need. We just have to go out there and make some friends on LinkedIn, Facebook, and Twitter, and all the other social media platforms, because they're not going away. And we can use them for our benefit, especially to get out of coronavirus.
Yes, we certainly can. Well, this has been absolutely fantastic. And you all go to WannaEatSeafood.com and put in the promo code Dorothy Kuhn, and you will get a wonderful meal and 15% off. So this is great. And it's been a pleasure talking with you both today. Thank you so much, Brittney, and thank you so much, John. I'm just delighted to have you here, and I can't wait to taste some of that great food.
Absolutely. Thank you, Dorothy. Thank you for having us. Stay safe.
Hold on. Before you go anywhere, I want to make sure you know how much I appreciate your listening ear on the Successful She podcast. And as such, I want you to know that I don't only want to make a difference here to you on the podcast weekly, but actually I want to be in there with you in your business, in your life, every single day, helping you overcome the things that other people can shock you with, so you can avoid shocked response syndrome and transform from stewing, shouting, shrinking, or shunning those people who don't respect or appreciate you, those situations that get in your way and even stop you, so that instead you'll be standing up for yourself with confidence, respect, and fun, and drive the results you want and honestly that you deserve. So I want to invite you to our free Successful She community of practice for you, the woman who knows there's more for you in your business, in your personal life, and in your social life. It's an invite-only free online community of high-level women achievers, and this is where you can get ongoing trainings and interactions with me, where you can learn and grow with like-minded influencers and thought leaders, share best practices, and of course, get monthly micro trainings and book recommendations from me and my team. So our members range from women who own and lead businesses, professional women, to women who lead in your community, family, and movements. We would so benefit from having you, and we know you will get so much value out of this group as well, especially if you really appreciate what I bring you on the show. So if you do, head on over to dorothykuhn.com/community. That's where you'll have the opportunity to join the Successful She community of practice. We host it on Facebook, so go to dorothykuhn.com/community, answer a couple of questions, and then request the invite. We'll check you out and can't wait for you to join us inside our group. Thank you for listening. Success will be yours.